Bridget's Cannabis Corner. Today we have a super exciting show for you guys. We are interviewing Debbie Griggs and Dr. Janel Jones. So we're going to go ahead and start the show out by calling in spirit with our singing bowl. And Debbie Griggs taught me how to do this, you guys.
That was years ago.
All right, so I'm just going to start the show by asking you guys to tell the audience a little bit about yourselves. Debbie, as I call Debbie Sweet D because she's very important to me. So Sweet D, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I'm Debbie Griggs. Hi, lovely people. I always start my little YouTube videos that way. I don't know what to say. I do predictions of the past, present, and future. I help find missing people. I work with Janel with medical, talking to spirit, and she knows all the medical genres, so we connect that way. We've helped a lot of people. Like I said, I worked with police department, finding missing people. Love doing that. I can help people release their blockages to bring love and health and joy and prosperity to themselves. And so I'm kind of like a soul coach, spiritual advisor, intuitive, but it's from spirit. Spirit will know where your blockages are. They'll say something happened to you at this age, and that's why you have this blockage. And I have like 200 YouTube videos too on all this crystals, new age kind of stuff. So
awesome. And I just have to say, from my experience with Debbie, she's really made me into the person I am today. She's given me the courage to stand up and be myself and let my light shine and send the shit back into the ground and let the good in.
Yeah.
So not only that, but Debbie is a wonderful healer. She healed my husband. My husband was on his deathbed, and she came over out of the kindness of her heart and did a healing on him and literally saved his life. His body was shutting down. So that was quite a while ago, many years ago.
Yeah, that was 2014, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
So I love Sweet D. She has so much to offer. I encourage you guys to follow her on YouTube. You can sign up for readings at psychicdebbie.com. I put the link in my Facebook. She's just an amazing spirit coach. And there's something about her. Whenever I'm around Sweet D, she's just has this wonderful positive energy that just flows from her.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love what I do. I really love what I do. So
yes. And so I guess we'll move on to Dr. J. Dr. Janel Jones, you guys. Dr. Janel Jones has played a very important part in the person I am today also. I've done some tarot readings in her shop, and that also encouraged me to just kind of come out and be myself and not be so afraid. So thank you so much, Dr. J. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure thing, guys. Well, like you guys know, but I'll tell everybody out there, I'm a family nurse practitioner. I practice holistic medicine primarily. So that's more of an integration of traditional concepts along with accepting and understanding a lot of alternative modalities to integrate with what we do. But I think the thing that I focus on more, and that's where Debbie comes in, is spiritual health, connectedness to medicine and disease. Deb and I met, 2013, a few years ago. She helped me with kind of helping my mom to see that there was something more on the other side when she was fighting cancer. And I quickly saw how useful bringing an intuitive into difficult medical situations or healing situations would just change things. I think we started having her come up to do reads at my office here in Stevensville as part of wonderful events, and I started doing that more and more. And like you're saying, that's changed me. It's changed how I practice. It's changed how I've looked at the world. Readings through spirit and having truth and being able to always get that insight helps me have peace gives me guidance in those tough decisions. And so I offer that to my patients. Not everybody's open, but a lot of people that you'd be surprised are, especially when there's never been answers from anybody else, or they don't like what those answers are pushing them into a scary part of medicine. We come back and we do reads, and I have to tell you, I've never seen spirit say, yeah, you have to do the traditional medicine. It's rarely ever. Maybe surgicals come up, extreme cases, but yeah, most times there's food, thoughts, herbs, but most times it's the beliefs, like Deb's saying, it's a belief that's holding you back, and we're usually able to get to the root of that. Even if the person's not yet getting it, we're getting a lot out of it too. And so it's been nice, and my practice has changed. We've now, I think because of the reads we've done and understanding spirit, I've been opened up to move into marijuana as a medicine wholeheartedly. Deb's helped me in the past year to just jump 2 feet into opening our own dispensary, a natural medicine apothecary right in Florence. And now we're doing both. So, you know, it comes up a lot in the reads, how to use cannabis as medicine. I don't think we ever got initially in some of our cancer patients how intensely they wanted us to use it. But I understand that now, and I think I'm better able to help guide patients in using medicine that their bodies would prefer. And I think it'll be nice to get more insight as to how they explain we can use it, because it can go from cancer to just those people need to learn how to relax, give them some cannabis.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be so tight.
Exactly. So it's definitely been a process for all of us.
Well, and I think you bring up a really valid point, because a lot of what I see is, for the most part, traditional medicine, people put all of their hope and faith in physicians because they are the professionals who are educated. And so that's kind of how we're raised, to put all of our trust and faith of our healthcare into these professionals. But I think one thing that we don't understand as a society is that they're human just like the rest of us. They don't know everything. And so I think it is really important to bring spirit into healing and kind of use all different modalities to be able to achieve maximum results.
The phones are green.
Yeah.
and my time says 11:22. So hey, probably spirit going. Sorry.
Yay, right on. This was supposed to be. This is meant to be.
Yep.
And medical providers sometimes run out of answers themselves too.
Right.
And I think they have a limited set of tools when we're only relying on chemicals. And I do see medicine opening up. And, you know, even to the point of them using cannabis now in traditional medicine. It's a step. So they are using it. They have a CBD product. They have a cannabis product on the market, Sativex. So it is spreading.
Well, like with the spiritual thing, when I do readings with you, then spirit will say, and I channel it because I won't remember the readings. Janelle has to write it down. Now we're thinking of recording them. It's like, it's this kind of flower, it's this kind of plant, it's this kind of root, it's this kind of herb, and she's like, never heard of it. Then you'll look it up or talk to somebody else, and they'll be like, oh yeah, we have that, we know what you're talking about. So it's kind of funny how we'll get information through spirit or the cannabis. I feel like the cannabis will talk to us too, or talk to me too. You know what I mean? I'm probably talking to some, I know that sounds kind of woo-woo-y and, you know, but it's kind of like, it's like you're talking to a plant or talking to your pets or whatever. Everything has a certain vibration to it. And it's like connecting to that vibration of, would you be able to cure this person if you're talking to that plant, if it's a dandelion or if it's a cannabis oil? Do you know what I mean?
Well, and growers will tell you that. You know, my husband being a grower for years, his connection with the plants is so critical to that plant healing and creating the right medicine, to the point where they're saying you can end up planting hemp or cannabis in seed form in just a scatter way, and it will evolve the right plants for the right diseases that you're looking for. So, and that's what they're doing with hemp now in terms of growing. They're just letting it seed itself. They're not being so specific with the genetics. So when I heard that, it really made me understand how spirit now has an input in what we're getting.
Right.
Well, and Debbie, I think I want to say, because you said you think people might think it's kind of that you can talk to the plant, but it does make sense to people like us because plants are also living things.
Right.
So, and one thing that I've experienced from caregivers is they love their plants. Anybody who's growing cannabis, anybody who's trimming, who takes care of these plants, they put so much love into these plants, and to me that just makes me feel like that's just going to help the plant heal whoever it's meant to heal. Yeah. So I do want to ask you a question, Debbie. If you could speak to cannabis, the plant, what would the plant tell us? What message would it have for us as a society?
Okay, so, there's a couple things. I got to write things down. So
me too.
Okay, so there is so like you were saying and Janelle was saying, the person that's growing the plant makes a big difference. It's kind of like that Dr. Emoto where you can get water, but if you're saying I hate this water, then that hates water, right?
Yeah.
So if you're growing a plant, that's what I'm hearing right now through Spirit is who's ever growing it, be really picky. It's kind of like the cows. Even if we're eating meat, it's like, yeah, you can eat meat, but go for the grass-fed, the one that wasn't, struck, or go to the farmer and get the cow from them where it was loved, and so love was processed in it. So that's what I'm hearing about the cannabis plant I would be picky about who grows it. I'd be really picky about who grows it, because if they're a grumpy old man growing the plant, grumpy oldness is going to get into the plant. You know what I mean? Or if they're playing music with it, it's kind of like high vibrational music, or using good water with it, or even sunlight. Do you know what I'm saying?
Or even how we process it. That's come up in readings that the plant was right, but they processed it with a bunch of butane and left chemical residues, and now it's a negative to the body.
Right. So it makes a big difference of where, who, what, where, how it's getting processed, who's growing it, who's handling it, who's selling it to you. I mean, if you get it this way, what I just heard from Spirit right now is it's kind of like opium, where people are saying everybody's dying from opium. But I'm hearing, but then you remember the Japanese that used to do the railway, they never died of opium. They would just smoke it and be in that piece of it because they were acknowledging it, and they allowed it to acknowledge them. Do you see what I'm saying? So like if someone was selling you opium, but they're selling it because of the money, not because it's going to heal you, that is going to be processed into the opium. Does this make sense?
That makes total sense to me. Yeah, because I think that, it has a lot to do with the energy. And that's why I'm always preaching that it's definitely, you don't just throw a seed into a pot and expect it to grow. You really have to send it good energy. You have to take that time and put love into the plant to really make that plant turn out to be something wonderful.
Right. But I'm going to contradict you there for a minute, because this is how Spirit is. They tell it how it is. They're saying, no, it's okay to throw the seed into a pot and you're watering it if you step away from it. Again, because it's going to know what to do. It's going to be in the is, what I always talk about, the isness, where there is no negative or positive. It's going to grow, and it's going to produce fantastically. It's going to know how much soil to take, how much water to take, how much sun to take, right? We don't have to measure, okay, we're going to give you 2 drops of water a day, right? It doesn't say it's going to take in what it needs to take in. So with you, but I get what you're saying, Bridget, is when you're planting it, you want the people that are growing it for you to acknowledge it and giving it this high vibration. Again, I agree with you there, but see, Spirit can be anal, you know how they are. It's like,
I mean, that's why we're doing this interview. We are all for any information, whatever Spirit has to say to us, and that's wonderful information. I do have a question about, let's see.
What were you going to say, Janelle?
I just see that as kind of a comparison to factory farming versus organic farming. You know,
Right.
of course, those organisms will grow. They are on an automatic path, but it's how well and it's the vibration they're around. And if it's in a loving, beautiful farm like we think all of our animals are coming from, sure, yeah, great, you're going to get good quality meat. I mean, it's what made me become a vegetarian in college was hearing what went into animal husbandry. It was like, I don't want to eat the product of all that cruelty and pain and upsetness. And I don't think anybody wants those plants to go into their family member who's sick coming from that either. You know,
right. But we can change that, because when you're eating the meat, you can say, I'm only taking the highest vibration.
Yep.
Just like with the cannabis oil is, I mean, if people are going, well, I can't afford this high cost cannabis oil, which I feel that you two sell it, you know, in good pricing or whatever, and doing it that way. But it's like, well, then before you take it, before you smoke it, say, I acknowledge you, and I'm only taking the highest vibration or whatever my body needs from this to be in the space of purity or the isness, you know what I mean?
Right.
To be happy, healthy, whole, and complete. So, yeah.
So no worry to be scared of the cheaper strain if that it's still cannabis and can help, and you can take the good part.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's all about the energy. Put your intention in there. It's all about the intention, right, Sweet Dee?
Yeah. It's all in your perception and your intention. That's
so. What does Spirit say about what we should be using cannabis for?
Oh, well, that's
too big a question.
I mean, that's kind of broad. Yeah, I guess.
Use it for?
You know, I'd be sitting here I'd be like Santa Claus with a list. The naughty list and the good list. There's so, I mean, because they're telling me all aspects of our body, our hair, our skin, our eyes, our nails, our toes, our nerve system, our oil system. That's why when I do readings with Janel and a client comes in, that's what I'm trying to connect with, is what cannabis or what kind of, it doesn't even have to be the cannabis oil. It can be a root. It could be a plant. It could be a flower. It could be an oil. Right. It could be something. Yeah, it could be a crystal. But everybody's resonates in such a different resonation. So like I could give you a dragon cannabis, but it wouldn't work for Janel, even if you guys had the same things going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to vibrate differently, and she's going to vibrate, or you're going to allow differently than her. And a lot of it is what you're going to allow, and if you believe in it and believe in yourself is a major component here.
Yes. Yeah. So that goes back to, you know, talking about cannabis as a medicine and in terms of the fear piece. So, you know, you said if we can speak over the medicine and say I only take the highest vibration or the best parts, it's going to work best in the body. But there's also a concept in medicine that the placebo, that if you believe in it, it's going to heal you. And, you know, I think cannabis, a lot of times because people are afraid of it, they're more likely to have the anxiety or the negative reaction sometimes because they're scared of it coming in. And I think the body holds that fear and it reacts. But people who are open to cannabis, I think, have a better ride or an easier time when they're seeing it as something healing, not something to be afraid of.
Right.
And so that stigma, you know, I think we're all trying to work on that, is to get people to not be afraid of it. And because then you can use it easier and you can reach more people with it.
Right. And that's a very valid point, because right now what I'm seeing in my patients is a huge pickup of our elderly people, reefer madness era people, and they are literally afraid of the plant. They're afraid to use it because they've been told it's the devil's drug and it's a gateway drug and it'll make you crazy and you're bad people. And so that's one thing that I'm working diligently in trying to change that stigma, so that our elderly can actually have a better quality of life and not be afraid of this plant that can give them a lot less side effects than some very terrible pharmaceuticals or Western medicine.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's where CBD is a great gateway drug.
Yeah.
In the good sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's much more approachable and and calming.
Yep. and completely non-psychoactive for CBD.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like alcohol, because I mean, look at how much alcohol has killed people, right?
Yep.
I mean, drunk drivers, addiction, people say, oh, well, the cannabis can get you addicted to something. Well, then you have an addictive personality. I don't think it has to do with the cannabis oil. That's what I'm seeing, is if you looking at it as a healing component. Do you know what I'm saying? If you have an addictive personality, you're going to be addicted to the oil or the alcohol or whatever it is that you're going to do to connect to that. Do you know what I mean? To make you feel better. Then you're not in the right space of, then you're going to be addicted to the Western medicine too. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like what you were talking about with opium. Same idea. If you're using it appropriately in the right space, it can be used for healing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I wonder, so during my research, I was trying to find some religions that use cannabis in their culture. And one of the ones that I came across was Hinduism. And it's kind of funny because I don't know how I keep ending up with Lord Shiva. When my daughter's tumor started to grow, Lord Shiva kept coming up for me, kept coming up. Any research I do, I'd see this blue man with all these arms, and I'm like, well, what is this guy about? Why does this guy keep popping up? And I have a friend who lives in India, so he's been able to kind of teach me a little bit about Lord Shiva, and I was like, I'm not sure why he keeps coming up, and he was like, well, it's probably because he's one of the gods that is okay with cannabis. And I'll just read a quick little thing here on Hinduism. It says, during the Hindu festival of Holi, people consume bhang, B-H-A-N-G, which contains cannabis flowers. According to one description, when the Amrita, elixir of life, was produced from the churning of the ocean by devas and the asuras, Shiva created cannabis from his own body to purify the elixir, whereas for cannabis, the epithet, or body-born. Another account suggests that the cannabis plant sprang up when a drop of the elixir hit the ground. Thus, cannabis is used by sages due to association with elixir and Shiva. In Hinduism, wise drinking of bhang, according to religious rites, is believed to cleanse sins, unite with Shiva, and avoid miseries of hell in the future life. It is also believed to have medicinal benefits. In contrast, foolish drinking of bhang without rites is considered a sin. So I thought that was really interesting, and I'm looking through
what we're talking about.
I mean, it makes total sense. And from what I know, the oil that Jesus was anointed with, and Debbie, you probably know better than me, but I believe that it was cannabis oil he was anointed with.
Yeah, they say it's olive oil, but really I feel like it was probably like a cannabis healing modality. But it's the vibration, again, what we've been talking about. It was the vibration that was put onto it. Do you know what I'm saying? And the placebo, and that allowing yourself to be healed. I mean, there's so many different components. If like Bridget and Janelle is saying, if you're in fear of it, it's going to create the fear that you're wanting. But if you're believing in the purity of it, and that it is to help you, not to harm you, then it's going to heal you. Do you know what I mean? It's going to heal you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And that you make a very valid point. It's that energy again. It's the energy and what, your belief system. And, I feel like if you have faith and you believe that this is going to help you, then, I mean, regardless what treatment it is, if it's cannabis, if you're using craniosacral therapy, if you're choosing Western medicine, if you're choosing homeopathic medicine, I think you have to put your energy and your hope and belief into whatever treatment you're choosing.
Right.
Yeah.
So like with me and Janelle, when we get a client come in, that's where I'm helping them out, is I'm seeing where is the quickest way, or the portal that they can go into. It's kind of like, instead of climbing the mountain, you can climb the path that's between the mountains if you choose to. So that's why when I do readings with her and with the client, I'll be like, well, this and this has come up in your life, but there's a path if you take it through this way, through either this cannabis oil from this plant, from this vibration, will vibrate with you. And so that's really what it is, I mean, I don't know that much about cannabis oil. You guys are the queens of that, but I'm sure that there's certain levels. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You and I have done readings on that, Deb, because I mean, I make products. I make like topical salves and internal stuff. So when I come to her to try to figure out which strain to use for which product, they're so anal. Like, this plant needs to be processed for this amount of time. This plant will work on this, and this in the body. And this one doesn't. I mean, they're all very, very specific. We have not touched the surface of what each
not
one
even close. Not even close. And I really see this is, you know, it's like, okay, getting stock in it. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to have to get stock in your guys' companies when they get bigger and bigger. It's like, okay, let me have half the stock here. So, you know what I mean? Because I feel like this is going to be the new genre, the new thing it's going to be, we're going to be connecting the East and the Western healing modalities together. And it's going to be a more of a balance. It's not going to be so Western and then maybe a little bit of the Eastern, you know what I mean? I feel like it's going to be together, and each has their own place. And the thing that if it doesn't work is because it will be because of the money again. So like cancer, we know that there's cure for cancer. We know that like this cannabis oils that there could cure it. So I feel like the government is losing out, and so they're going to go, okay, now we're going to make it legalized so that we can put taxes on it, just like cigarettes, and make tons of money off of it. So yeah, let's say it heals, which it's healed since it was born, right? And so now they're, because of the money, let's put the tax on it. But that's okay if it gets it to get out there so that we all can benefit from it.
What I think they're going to see oh, go ahead.
I would like to say to you ladies, thank you so much for what you do and for coming together and coming up with this, because you are two, I have not seen anyone do this, combine the spirit aspect with the actual Western medicine part to help just kind of guide people into whatever process would best suit their needs. So thank you so much, ladies. This is totally amazing. And I want to give a huge shout out to you guys. I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for all the patients that you help. It is very, very scary to have a serious diagnosis such as cancer and to be told that you have an expiration date and you're not going to live, and just to have people like you guys to reach out to be like, okay, I just got this news, I'm now in trauma brain, I don't know what to do, I need help, I don't know what to do, what is going to be best for me. So you ladies, what you guys do together as a team is just kind of help guide people to find out what is going to be the best treatment for them. And it helps people, it helps ease people's minds to be like, okay, so somebody does care about me, somebody does, you know, they are also concerned about my health and want the best for me.
Learn that there's options. I mean, I think the biggest thing we've been able to give people over the years together is hope. And when no one else has any more answers, I've seen so many people leave this office after a read and go, if I have nothing else, I have hope now. I have understanding. And I feel I'm bad because, and I'll tell Deb this, I get so anxious to want to find out for people sometimes before they're ready. And that to me is the hardest part, because you know there's answers over there. And she's usually able to dial it in, even if it's after a while because they're throwing it at her so much. We're able to narrow it down into some basic things and some real practical stuff that people can do and work on. And we've seen the changes. I'm just amazed at the bravery of some people that will come into our office and just say, I don't want any traditional medicine. I want to do this all natural. And they will leave here getting told to do these exercises at night with spirit, you know, start drinking this tea, start eating this way. And it's a bold step to walk away from traditional medicines almost like security blanket of, don't worry, I'll take care of it all. Putting it right back in their hands. And it really is up to them. But I think the proof from Deb is always someone's with you, because how would she know these things? How would she be able to tell you any of these things going on in your life if spirit wasn't with you all the time?
Right.
And I can tell you from my own experience with Debbie is that, and I have from years, all of our readings that she used to write by hand, I have all of those still. And I will refer back to her readings, because I'll be like, you know what, I think Sweet D was telling us about this. I'll go back and I'll look and I'll be like, my God, Becky, she was right. She called it 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's spirits, so it's good. You know, I don't like, you know, I don't remember a word I say to you guys. So it's like, you know, it's like, and some people kind of, I'll be like, did I do a reading for you? Yes, I've done 5 readings with you. Oh, sorry, you know, but I just don't remember.
You.
Yeah, because it's like I'm already in that space of just channeling. It's just like, okay, just give me the question and I got to go. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. But with you, Bridget, you got to give yourself credit too, because you're helping a lot of people.
Yeah, you have.
You're putting it on the planet. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like because it's helped you and your daughter immensely with your family, that you're going, I just can't keep this to myself. I got to bring it to the world.
You're inspired.
Get it to the space of where that you can get either people donate to you or you're making some money off of this because you're helping healing too many people. And I say that you can do healing, you can do be healed and be rich at the same time. You know what I mean? You can be spiritual,
absolutely.
You can be healed, you can be rich, you can have it all at the same time. So, yeah.
Well, I have a little team that I work with. We do a lot of cannabis advocacy work, and we try to connect very, very sick and dying people with caregivers who can help. And so I was just talking with one of my other team members. Her name is also Bridget. The other day, just yesterday, we helped another person, and we were talking about how the feeling that we get just helping people, I would rather have that feeling in my heart than get a $100,000 paycheck. That feeling, that knowing that you've been able to help somebody is worth more than any financial money can ever bring to me. And it's thanks to you two girls that I was brave enough to say, you know what? Screw it. I don't give a care what people think of me. People are gonna, and Debbie told me these words exactly. People are gonna love you or they're gonna hate you. And the people who hate you, they don't have to watch. The people who love you, those are the ones who matter. And you were totally right about that, Debbie. Since I have come out, I have not gotten any negativity. It's all been positivity. I get people that tell me all the time, just by me doing my strain reviews, I've helped them. And like, some of these people are famous, and I'm just like, well, I'm even more honored to, you know, be able to do this for you. So thank you, ladies, for helping me come out of my shell and realize that the mission is more important than the judgment of people.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, do you have a question?
Let's see. I was wondering if you can connect with Lord Shiva.
Oh, okay.
He's one of three Hindu gods, which is part of the Holy Trinity.
How do you spell his name? SHIVEA?
VA.
VA.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he's blue, and he's got multiple arms. We're wearing blue today. We've got all of our blue for communication.
Yeah. So
I didn't even know you told me to do that.
I'm like, we all gotta wear this blue.
She sent it over to me telepathically, I guess.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is my hands, because I have numerous of hands, because I'm in everything. So basically he's saying I'm everything. I'm the is again. So what people would think is a God or Buddha or universal source, I'm in everything. And so and to get me to come out is by acknowledging the love, the peace, the opium, the CBD
to
oil,
get in the vibration.
whatever, Right. Connect to it, acknowledge it, and then it will come out even stronger because it needs to be acknowledged. See, the whole thing is that kind of like what I was saying to Bridget, where I get it that you say it makes me feel good. I don't need $100,000, but why can't you have both?
Thank you.
Right? Yes.
Because
Yes,
I was going to
I
slap
agree.
you because
Yes.
I'm so tired of, I'm going to
waiting for
do a
that.
book of this. I'm going to do a thing of this, helping people be spiritual and rich at the same time. You can have both.
Yes.
So he's saying the same thing. You can be happy, healthy, whole, and complete, rich, happy. You know what I
The
mean?
money.
But his hand is all in everything. And that it's almost kind of like where's Waldo kind of thing. It's like with you focusing, it's like where if you acknowledge it and you focus on it, you're going to find him in everything.
Yes.
Which is funny because I am not kidding when I say when I got this news about Samantha that her tumor started to grow, Lord Shiva was everywhere. I was not specifically seeking him out. He just kept popping up and popping up and popping up for me. I didn't know anything about him until I asked my friend Sandeep about him. So that validates exactly what you're saying.
Right. So he's in everything and you have to ask. That's in this 3D world. In the other space, you don't. You just think of it and it comes to you because you're in the is. But you have to ask. It's like, what part can I help or what part can I heal or bring the people to me that I can heal them, bring the situations to me so that I can get prosperity or health, whole and completeness. Whatever it is that you're wanting from the cannabis oil, because it has the cannabis plant, like this beautiful plant behind me. What is that called?
That's Rainbow Kush.
Rainbow Kush. Okay. So it's gonna know if you talk to it, it's gonna know where it needs to go. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like him. Lord Shiva is in everything. He's in every essence of your body, your being, your vibration. It's kind of like a sparkler. It's kind of like sprinkles of blue. Do you know what I mean? And,
I love the sparkler. I love the sparkler, Sweet D.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the sparkle and recognizing it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's recognizing it. It's just kind of like, it's kind of like, when you can drive home from work every day because you're so used to it, you're like, I'm home. You didn't recognize the outdoors. You didn't recognize the tree. You didn't recognize the birds. You didn't recognize the person next to you. You didn't recognize the song and how it made you feel. Because if you're like, oh, I'm home. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're just doing it subconsciously.
Yep.
So what I'm hearing is recognize the greatness of you and everything and the Lord Shiva and everything. And that's what's going to heal you.
I'm just writing this down.
Okay. Well, we're recording, so.
Oh, that's true. So that is, that's one of the things that you've been teaching me for many, many years is how to exactly maneuver your thoughts to manifest great energy.
Well, there's energy, and then there's vibration, and then there's frequency, and then there's sound, and then there's water. So there's a lot of concepts. Tesla was that way too.
Hold on, Deb, when she was talking about, when Shiva was trying to explain about him being in everything, and then you were just trying to correct the thought of she can be loving, helping everyone, but the money piece, would it be an easier way to think of it to say, let's see the healing in every part of cannabis and in everything, and that there's healing and you bringing money to yourself, that money coming to you is healing also. And that way, as a big picture, you can see him in everything, meaning that healing and that God and that love can come forward in money too.
Right.
And you can expand your vision of your healing and in your concept of yourself. Then the money's going to flow in naturally and be attracted to that. Otherwise, there's a blockage. There's a limit that says, I can get to this point, but then money would equal greed.
Right.
Something.
Because it's kind of like a person that's homeless. You're healing them by giving them a place, but it has the process, like she was saying, the vibration of money. It's not the money. It's not the paper and the printing that's on it.
There's nothing evil about it.
Exchange. Do you know what I'm saying? So allowing the exchange, because if you're not allowing the prosperity to come to you, then you're not allowing the exchange of the healing also, because it's part of it. It's all connected together.
Yep, and you have to be able to accept and allow all forms of abundance, and no matter how they come.
Right, and so people are going to fight you for it. You know what I mean? People are going to fight you, like, why is it so expensive? Well, then I'm not the person to go to. Go to somebody else. But the person that's saying, oh, I can only afford the $25, or I want a free reading, say, I get this numerous of times. I'll be like, you're not going to accept the free reading because you don't want the exchange. You don't want the exchange. Maybe you can barter. You can cut my hair, and I'll barter with you. Do you know what I mean? I barter with people all the time. So it's like, I'll barter with you if you want to do this, to that. But that's not honoring yourself. And honoring yourself is part of the healing process. And honoring the cannabis oil or the plant is part of the plant. It's honoring it. It's kind of like growing a tulip and going, wow, look at how beautiful the tulip is. Do you know what I mean? Look, yeah. But years ago, a tulip bulb was worth like gold.
Yeah.
Years ago, it was like worth gold. I mean, they put it in boxes and because it grew these beautiful flowers and whatever, or even sugar and salt, right? They honored it. Now we just kind of throw it around and whatever, you know, we're not acknowledging it. So that's the thing with the cannabis oil. I feel that, and the Shiva, the Lord Shiva, is if we start acknowledging the essence of what it's giving to us, do you know what I'm saying? And acknowledging the healing of it, the properties of it, because it's in no judgment. Lord Shiva is not in judgment. The plant is not in judgment either. You're the one that's processing the judgment on it. Do you know what I'm saying? For the healing.
Yep.
Absolutely. That makes total sense.
And that the beliefs are changing about the plant as well.
Right.
Yeah, which is wonderful to see. I really like to see my favorite is when the elderly come in or retirees and they're afraid, but then they talk to me and I'm able to explain to them, this is not the devil's drug, this is not the devil's lettuce, and it can be a lot better for you. You know, you've worked your whole life to retire. You want to enjoy the rest of your life. You've worked hard, but by the time you get to retirement age, they're all broken, and then they're having to be put on blood pressure medications, sleeping medications, anti-anxieties,
arthritis
arthritis medicine, and so that's one of my favorite things is helping.
You gotta know that I'm getting close to retirement age.
Yeah. Oh,
but we're gonna.
So we just gotta get the money quicker, Deb. That's all.
Yeah. Accept and allow. Accept and allow.
Well, no, I'll be doing this till the day I die. I'll be 110 going. No.
Yep.
And the reading is. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, Debbie, one more question for you, and then I'm going to ask Dr. J a couple questions.
Okay.
So, if somebody is using cannabis, how does Spirit suggest we use it for? Say we don't have any health problems. We just want to reach homeostasis. How does Spirit suggest that we do that in an energetic form?
Okay, so what they brought up to me is because they will always bring up stories or people or situations that I know of so that I can, because it's my perception, right? I see the story and then I got to perceive it to you guys. So the thing that they're showing me is when you're smoking it, like you said, there's the healing modality of it, there's the enjoyment of it, and then there's the spirituality of it too. So there's some people that will combine a lot of the cannabis oils, and it's kind of like an ayahuasca, and you're letting go of all your fear, worries, and doubt, and your truth is being shown. I mean, so it depends on which way you want to use it. Do you know what I'm saying? Are you using it just because you're addicted to it and it just calms me down? Or I need to be addicted to it because I have issues that are the past? Well, then you're not acknowledging it. You won't be acknowledging the pot, or you won't be acknowledging the things that are affecting you, right? So that's where the addiction would come in. But if you're doing it for enjoyment, it's like, yeah, I want to be in enjoyment of this. Like I said, using the right strain or whatever that will make you, because some people it makes them sleepy like me, or some other people it makes them, you know, party hardy or give you energy. Isn't that funny how a certain strain could make me sleep and make my husband be excited or whatever, you know what I mean? So to me, it's looking at it in that space of, okay, I'm going to enjoy it. What is it that you want to show me? What is it you want to show me? And what is it that I'm connecting? And it's kind of like you could smoke it and go and take it and go, I'm not resonating with this. So obviously, if you're not resonating with it, it's not the right one. It could be right for you and it could be right for Janelle. But if I could take it and go, I'm not feeling it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of a feeling thing. So the right way to take it or smoke it or whatever, which form you're using it for, is asking it, do I resonate with it? Do I resonate with this? Does it make me feel happy, healthy, and whole and complete? If it doesn't, and it's making me drowsy, making me, you know, not feeling too good, then I would discard it. If you're bringing taking it in a spiritual realm, and wanting truth to come up, sometimes those stories need to be put out. It's kind of like having sweat lodge, you know what I mean? Sweating out and the spirit comes out, right? The spirit comes out. And that's why some people are like, oh, I don't like it because all this stuff came up. And it's like, yeah, it's showing you what you've been holding on to for so many years. And it's asking you, do you want to be healed? Do you want to let go of these stories? Do you want to let go of these vibrations? Right? So that's connecting to it that way.
Kind of like those balls you always talk about when you keep holding them all down and then your inhibitions go, boop, there.
Right. Yep. It's like a beach ball in the water. You know, you can only hold them down so much. And the older you get, you got more beach balls. And then you got to figure out which beach ball you're going to hold on to. And then your foot's in there and your hair's in there and you're all trying to hold. And then you let one go and it flies up. But then when it comes down, because you released it, it comes down and it floats. And you're thinking, why in the hell have I been holding all these beach balls underwater for so long? When I could just let it go, it will pop up, but then it comes down and it floats, and then you're okay with it. So it's kind of like that with I say, whatever strain, flower, whatever, you guys know the verbiage, I don't, but it's like connecting to it. And it's almost like I say, if you're going to the shop, like Janelle's shop or whatever, or talking to you, Bridget, I would go ask yourself while you're talking to Bridget or whatever, and going, does that dragon formula really resonate with me? Some part of me is saying I don't resonate with it. Then you'd be like, fine, here's another verse of it, or here's another, right? So it's what resonates with you.
And also, also, Debbie, I'd like to, I want to just verify what you said. I've been doing a lot of research on this myself, and cannabis can clarify insights for you, and that is part of the reason some people don't do well with cannabis, because it makes us break down those walls and those barriers that can leave people feeling uncomfortable and naked, essentially.
Right.
And people don't like to, people who build those walls, they don't like to tear them down, and so that's a really uncomfortable feeling for some people.
Yeah. Well, 2019, I got it on my prediction video, is the year of secrets are not going to be held very easily this year. So it's going to be an emotional year for some people, or some other people it's going to be, and other people it's going to be, damn it, because they're going to be trying to hide. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, we see you behind the paper, Debbie. No, I don't. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of years.
Yeah. So, Debbie, speaking of yearly predictions, my last question for you: do you see cannabis being taken off of the Schedule I drug list this year?
For all the states?
For federal, yep.
No, I don't see it for all the states.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't. I see it going to that space. I'm seeing it being more in the 20s, 2021, 2022. Then I see it. I don't see, it's too much of fighting, and I really don't want to use this as a sounding board for politics, but it's too much right and too much left are fighting together. They're not combining together and saying, and again, it's the money thing too for the cancer, because once because we know that cannabis oil cures cancer. It may not be all the strands of cancer, but we know it's curing all cancer, you know, a lot of cancers. So once I feel like the government, the hospitals, everything, you know, the pharmaceutical things all get connected to it, get their money out of it, then it will go through.
Yeah.
Sorry, but if this was a perfect world, we wouldn't be even talking about this. We'd all be smoking it and having a good time, but it's not. So the 60s and 70s, it's kind of funny that you're saying, you know, like the retired people, that a lot of the 60s and 70s, they kind of knew what they were talking about. Peace, you know, be in a vibration of it, love people, but they didn't see, this is where the money comes in. That's why I said I'm going to have to do a class on this, but people don't realize that you can be in this space and be wealthy, healthy, and prosperous, and financially prosperous, and love all at once. People have a hard time of having everything together, and that's why I'm saying with the law, everybody wants a piece of it. Do you see what I'm saying? And if they would just kind of relax and say, yeah, I get that, you need to get the tax, and you da. But if we would be more relaxed about it, it would rise up faster, then it would go through faster. But I'm seeing people fighting it.
Too much money on the table that everybody wants to make sure they get their piece because they're already making money now.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we need the infrastructure, just like in this state. You know, we needed time to make sure everybody can regulate and see where everybody is. You know, that takes time.
And we need to create a great foundation for this, because this is not just cigarettes. Do you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, you know, yeah, cigarettes cause cancer, but then there's certain kinds of teas that cure cancer. You drink, you know, the tea leaf, you can take the leaf to make cigarettes, or you can take the leaf to make tea, right? So, I mean, it's not, that's what I'm saying. It's like we need to create a great foundation on this so that we have the brick walls so that we can put a house on it. We don't want to put it on sandy ground.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So that when the earthquake comes and the wind comes and all this other stuff, we're like, I don't think so. We're pretty strong here, and you can throw it at us, but nope, we're okay. And that's what we need to connect. And that's not even close yet. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't think all the states are going to go, let's go for it.
And I would have to agree with you. I don't see it happening anytime this year, but for some reason 2021 sticks into my mind. So it's funny that you said that. I keep thinking, you know, it might be taken off the Schedule 1 drug list in 2021, which would allow us to do more studies on it, which would allow us to dispensaries to actually use banks, all different sorts of stuff. So thank you, Debbie, for that wonderful answer and your wonderful insight. And Dr. J, if I'm a patient and I walk into your dispensary, what would I expect?
I think what you'd expect is that you don't know you're in a dispensary. I think most people coming in on a daily basis don't know they're in a marijuana dispensary. They're in a natural medicine shop. They're in an apothecary. So I've set it up to try to make it very comfortable, focusing kind of on women. I run a health practice right now that has herbal supplements and everything that I would use for healing. And I just figured I'm going to stock the place with everything that people can just come in and utilize for their own natural healing needs. And should they need stronger medicine, there's another room right next door. It's comfortable and very approachable. I had too many patients come in here, and I get them set up with their card, and I get them ready to go meet their provider, and they're telling me they're just scared to go in. They feel like a bad person going into these places. They feel like everyone's looking at them, or they go in and they're afraid that they're going to talk to someone that doesn't know how to help them medicinally. You know, they don't want to be high. So I think the difference is that we've tried to make this medicine. I'm a medical provider, so we always offer free consultation and direct hands-on, like you're trying to do. This plant would work for you in this form. If it doesn't, you know, kind of trial and error. But that's the kind of concierge service we're trying to do. We want people to use this medicine, not have a bad experience, and not run away because like Deb was saying, it didn't resonate with them. But there's so many other options and so many other forms of that plant that we can find just the right fit.
So,
And I think that's so important for patients too, because a lot of the people that come into the dispensary that I work at, they're looking for a comfortable environment. And that's part of what sells people is they walk in and they're like, I'm so comfortable here. It's just, I just feel comfort. I feel like I'm at home. I feel I'm not scared. I don't have to park a million miles away and walk shadily into this scary place and go in there and get my drugs. And
Right.
so I want to give you props for that, Dr. J, because I think that's really important, because a lot of the people we are dealing with are reefer madness era people, or people who have been literally terrorized and told that this is a terrible drug and that it will make you crazy, and it doesn't.
Yep.
It doesn't. And that's part of why
exactly. That was my mom's experience. And I came here originally to bring her cannabis as medicine because she was not tolerating, and there were no more options, chemically. And I think when she did try it, she was relieved of pain. She had an appetite. She got up and was doing all kinds of activities. When she used narcotics, she'd be practically ODing and being on the line. But it was that stigma that I'm a bad girl. She's a girl of the 60s. She felt like she was a bad girl for using it, but yet a cigarette or a glass of wine or chemo or oxycodone were perfectly acceptable because it's a perception issue. No matter what, I could see a difference in her overall demeanor, but it's that belief. So I figure if one by one we can kind of break that down and make it more approachable, make it more usable, then we've done our job. And it's hard to do other medicine after you've done cannabis. It's hard to see any other options because there's so many. Yeah.
So the cannabis doesn't have to make you high, right?
No, and that's the great part with the high CBD strains. I mean, we carry about 6 of them now, where you've got a high enough CBD level, it blocks that receptor site for the THC in the brain, and you're not having to feel that. You can be relaxed while the THC is doing its job.
Because a lot of people don't know that. So that's something that you both need to kind of put out there. You don't have to get high to have the effects of the medical.
Yeah. Well, it's important for those people that are using like a FICA or a full extract cannabis oil, like Bridget's daughters had to use. When our patients are going through this intense treatment, it's hard. It's hard like chemo. I mean, they're depressed, they're tired, they're high. So, I've worked with other providers in the past saying, how do we give them a 50-50 strain? How do we get 50% CBD to try to block some of those side effects? Because there's a lot of work we need to do, like you were saying, treatment end, because medicine's not in there yet. We really have a lot of ground efforts of people trying to treat cancer on their own with herbs, and we need guidance, and we need people studying it and working on that.
So you need to ask Spirit about that. We need to do it.
You have to do it.
But I've got the answers. You never asked. See, that's how Spirit works with me. It's like you never asked. Like, right?
Write it down. We have another reading to do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Our vitamins in cannabis one. There's a whole thing we need to do on which ones provide which vitamins, because not all hemp strains are the same. Not all cannabis oils are the same. Some affect different vitamins too. So
yeah.
And also another way, because I also run into a lot of people that they want to use cannabis treatment, but they don't want to get high. And for my daughter, I've witnessed for myself that, people can get really uncomfortable when they're high. You're super, super high. You just want to sleep. And that's part of the intention of cannabis, is your body needs that rest in order to heal. But I suggest for a lot of people that want to use it for cancer treatment or different treatments, to eat it raw, juice it. Because if you are that way, you're still getting the THCA, you're still getting the CBDA, because it's still in that raw form. It hasn't been heated or aged. That THC hasn't been activated. So you're going to get a lot more of the better health aspect that way, and you don't have to deal with an uncomfortable high.
Yeah, because what I'm hearing from Spirit is we're not using the whole plant the way we're supposed to be using it. Because the roots got it in there, the leaves got it in there. I mean, There's too many things. The vape.
And that is one thing that I notice more and more people are asking me, is this the whole plant? Do you use the whole plant for this? So that is kind of starting to come out. People
That's what we're going to be doing now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do full plant extraction for you guys, because we do want the root, the flowers, the stems. There's something in every part of it. And I think it's crazy, even in herbal supplementation, when we pull out curcumin from turmeric and say, here, I've given you all the curcumin. Well, all the other parts of turmeric, I'm sure, played a role. And who are we to say? We have no idea. Yeah.
Just trial and error.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think I've taken up enough of your time today, ladies. I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work you do for patients, for the cannabis industry, and for the world in general. You guys bring so much love and light to people, including me. You guys have totally
put yourself in there.
Yeah, I mean, and I am able to give that gift back to people as well because of the things that you ladies have taught me. So thank you for all that you do. I just love you ladies so much. I love you. I wish I could give you a big hug.
Thanks for doing this, Bridget.
My pleasure. Thank you for joining me today, ladies. I love you so much.
Thank you for letting us do this and getting the word out. So how do they get a hold of you, Bridget?
So people can find me. I have Bridget's Cannabis Corner on YouTube, or you can check me out on Facebook at Bridget Ward. Let's see, I'm in a handful of different groups. Cannonun's 420 Ministry is one of the huge ones I'm now working out of. The Ganji Revolution. You can find me at Canna Crusaders. You can find me at Ganji Lovers. I'm all over the place. I'm just trying to spread my love and light everywhere I possibly can.
So you're a true healer then. You're a true healer.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I am a healer.
So
and I'm proud to be a healer.
Yes, you're a good healer. So how do we get a hold of you, Janel?
Right here in Stevensville, Montana. We're at stevensvilleclinic.com. We have a website for medical practice, and then we have the dispensary apothecary up in Florence, Montana, and that is the Medicine Box, located at Mother's Goodness, and we're right on Highway 93. And you can go to yourmedicinebox.com to check out the dispensary, and you can also go to mothersgoodness.shop for the apothecary.
And then Guardian Health Center for...
Yeah, Stevensville Clinic is our website for Guardian Healthcare Centers, and that's where I practice full-time as a family clinician.
And if you go to my brand new website, it will say the psychic and the doctor, and it will have her phone number on there so you can get a hold of her, and then we'll make an appointment, and it'll be just like this, do Skype reading with me in California and her in Montana. And if you're in Africa or Europe, we still can do it. We can do it in this format. So that's the wonderful thing about technology now. Yay!
Yeah, and we've done them. So yeah, absolutely.
Yep, and me, it's psychicdebbie.com. And my YouTube channel is Psychic Debbie Griggs. And like I said, I got 200 videos there. So
much free good stuff on there. I love
free good stuff. I wrote a little ebook, My Ghost Adventures. I'm going to be writing another ebook about opening up your third eye. So you can buy the little book for $1.99 on my website. But connect whatever way. Which one of us three ladies resonates with you? Get a hold of us. Connect with us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely, it's definitely worth your time. I definitely suggest take advantage of the free videos Debbie's got out. I have learned so much from Debbie, and just by watching her, by joining her groups, by I know years ago we had our own little spiritual group, and Jason and I that was our main, like, we could not wait to get to group. So these are totally amazing women, you guys. I suggest just shoot them a message. Tell them thank you for what you do. And so I'm super excited just to talk to you ladies and finally connect.
Yes.
We'll do it again soon.
Thank you. So goodbye. Blessings and smiles.
Blessings and smiles. Peace, love, in cannabis.
Oh, yeah. Woo-hoo. Bye-bye.